For doing this interview today with me. Today we're going to be talking about my project, which is vaccination rates across marginalized communities. I'm just going to be asking you a couple questions on the data visualizations I've created, as well as my topic itself and your experience with getting vaccinations for COVID 19. So, starting off, do you have any background getting vaccinated with COVID 19? If so, how was your experience?
Yes. In our county, there was a fair for setting up the vaccinations for COVID 19. And that time, when we heard from the local office that the COVID 19 vaccinations are available, so we had to schedule online. And at the particular time, we can go there, and there are a couple of vendors they were helping in providing that vaccination. So went through a big when at the particular time we went there and then got it done. So anything particular you're looking for?
No, sounds good. So, as you said, this fair that you went and you got the vaccination on was set up by your county?
Yes.
Okay.
And county and then some service provider called there's one called Access Community Health Services.
Mm-hmm.
So they have set up in a parking lot since the COVID-19 nobody was indoor.
Yeah.
We had to go in our car and get that vaccination done there.
Would you say that this is a very accessible way to perhaps getting a vaccination?
Definitely, because we were in the car, we don't have to get out or do anything. So we kind of felt secured.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, the nurses came in and we just got out on one side of me and my wife went together, and the nurses just came outside and they just provided us the vaccination. That was very accessible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sounds like you were able to have the whole family done as well as feel safe throughout the process while still getting that medical attention that you needed. Okay.
That's correct.
Yeah. And then, as you can see, I've sent you my project, so I'm hoping that we can look a little bit into that. And regarding your background in tech and being familiar with visualizations, I would love to get your feedback on how it looks and how I can improve on it. Yeah. So, yeah, just the first couple of slides of my current project just talk about the general context and my data sources. Uh, on the fourth slide, you can see my questions, which are which racial or ethnic groups of pregnant women aged 18 to 49 have significantly different vaccination coverage rates, and how confident can we be in those differences? Is there significant relationship between the size of the pregnant population in each demographic group and their vaccination coverage? And how has vaccination coverage among pregnant women aged 18 to 49 changed over time? And do trends differ across racial ethnic groups? Reading these questions on slide number 4, how do you feel?
They look legit, like good questions for pregnant women and
Mm-hmm.
different set of women. So it's something specific for me.
Yeah, so do you think these questions are perhaps easy to understand? Um, what are your takeaways?
I'm trying to see that questions again, and these questions. I'm giving a second look at that questions again.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
You can be honest. So if you feel that there's something else you would like to know about this topic that those questions don't address, or if you think those questions are doing something well.
So I think you're looking at like 18 to 14, which is very specific age target for pregnant women, and that puts it kinds of adds you around that the age group, and then finding the relationship. So I think these questions are great. And then you're also looking at the coverage amount for different ethnic groups. So that is the segregation you're gonna provide. So this looks good questions to me right now.
Okay. Then I think we can move on to some of the visualizations that I have, which will be on slides 7, 8, and 9. And then we can go through and you can see if those questions are properly answered and if those visualizations, how do they look to you? And as always, be honest. This is taking your feedback so that I can make my project better.
Okay. So we should look at the one visualization right now.
So yeah, starting on slide number 7.
Okay. Okay, can you talk about that slide a little?
Yeah, so here I just have my visualization, and it's actually just addressing the first question that we went over, which was which racial or ethnic group of pregnant women aged 18 to 49 have significantly different vaccination coverage rates, and how confident can we be in those differences? So here we just have a bar plot that plots the average percent, the cumulative percent basically at the end, with the 95% confidence intervals. And as you can see, Asian women tend to have the highest, where whites with the second most, whereas Black and Hispanic pregnant women ages 18 to 49 are least likely to get vaccinated, with an average percent ranging from 3 to 5%. But of course, I want my visualization to be able to tell this, so I want to know as I know that you are familiar with data and tech, but still, to maybe an average person, would this seem easily accessible and something that they can understand and take takeaways from?
Okay, this chart looks good. I would say that if you sort the data, the chart based on the heights first and goes in the decreasing order, that tells you like who has the highest and then goes on the way.
Yeah.
And something to add on is like, how did you get this data? What is the source?
Yeah.
Is that mentioned somewhere in their slides?
Yeah, that's actually mentioned in slide number 6, so right before.
So, okay, I'm looking at the data sources. Good. So you can do a bullet points here, so that I understand that every source is different.
So
some kind of indentation is needed there.
That is something to keep in mind, because I am using the same source for all my 3 visualizations, but I will be more clearer in my presentation, I feel.
Okay.
Yeah. And then when it comes to the visualization itself, is there anything regarding the chart title, the way the chart is organized, that you think I could improve on, perhaps?
Yeah, the chart title could be there. Like, I mean, you have race and ethnicity there. It's not the chart title. It's just
it's the x-axis. Yeah.
Axis. Okay. Yeah. I mean, so in top of your slide, you can provide us what are you showing actually, as just like 1 or 2 line, or not just 1 line, like 1 or 2 words, or maximum 3 words, and then you that tells you like that catches, that's like a high, that's a heading for the chart. and that's what we are looking at, right?
Yeah.
And then the wordings, it could be bullet points so that people don't need to read the whole sentences. They can just go one by one, so that gives you like the right information right in front. I mean, it's not like wording you want to read it, but there's bullet points.
Okay.
And same with the caveats.
Of course. Yeah. Definitely could be better organized, as well as just the general formatting of the chart could be done better. Okay. And then we can move on to slide number 8. That is the second chart.
So can you explain the chart a little bit so
Yeah.
that we understand?
So this chart, and I've talked to my teacher about this, and we've discussed about how we want these charts to work out. But basically, this chart basically shows the average population and then the average percent of people in the population that are vaccinated. The average population surveyed, sorry.
Okay. So
yeah, and you can be critical of this graph, or you can, say that it's, that it has some good qualities to it, but just whatever you think.
yeah, I mean, page 2. So this chart is basically it's telling me, I think it's like a little smaller so that I cannot match from the race and ethnicity to the dots on the chart. So and then the line is the average percentage for the R square.
Yeah, so it's basically the p-value.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's no correlation. That's what you figured out. There's no correlation between Asian and white. Like everyone, like all the race and ethnicity, because they are like all around the charts.
I think the intention was to look at more the sample size and its correlation between the percentage to see that if having a higher sample like increased the average percent, if there was concerns of perhaps like oversight when it came to recording these values. But hearing your confusion, I think I'm starting to feel like this graph is not the most informative to my to the audience that I'm presenting to.
Okay, so one thing you can do is like this. The circles inside the chart can be like they're solid. So that right now they're just showing the color circle around that color, but it does not match with the race and ethnicity. So if they are solid, then they should be able to match. And I think that will help this chart to look better.
Yeah.
And again, you can add a heading for this slide showing what is it. Again, the same comments I have. Let's put in a bullet points rather than sentences. And the result, I mean, you can always say data has no correlation since p-value is. you can always say results or inferences or um, whatever coming from experiment or your surveys. You can put as a result or inferences.
And
Yeah,
then,
but
yeah. And then I think I might have not outlined this in the beginning, but the purpose of this data visualizations and these presentation is to basically present to a stakeholder at the end to basically advocate for increased vaccines to marginalized communities. So additionally, not only should these graphs be easy to understand and being able to like see, but they should also be able to basically provide context and support the point that we should have more vaccines. So if at any point you feel like one graph is doing a really good job of that or one graph is not doing a really good job of that, feel free to let me know.
So average percentage and number of people is average denominator is, and the x-axis is what, like for 10,000, 40,000, 10 to 40,000 is the number of people there?
Yes. So I think basically not only is the graph like the idea is a little bit confusing, but also the variables around it, or the y-axis, the x-axis, and the name are not helping.
So, I mean, the relationship between two numerical values is very generic, right? And you want to put it like average percentage and number of people, so that understand this is like 8% of, let me try to understand here. Yeah. So if you take the outliner, which is like a purple one on the 90K line, so what does it mean? Like 90K people, the average percent is
the 9%? Overall percentage, yeah, for
that race and ethnicity.
Yeah, for all races and ethnicities recorded, the overall percentage was
90%. Okay, average percentage is 9%. Or 90K, that is a total data size there.
Yeah. Okay. I think we can move on to our last visualization.
Okay.
Which... Okay, why is it not letting me move on to the next? Okay, I can basically just describe it from here. But basically, the last visualization represents the growth over time, because this data set basically it talks about like how week by week there was, with overall vaccination coverage in each ethnicity recorded, increased. So this is just a visual that says that.
This looks good, except the line chart over time. I mean, you need to provide a heading again. This is very visible that how the growth of some ethnicity over time. So, and then I was just checking who was the top one. It's like, that's an Asian NH.
Asian non-Hispanic.
Non-Hispanic, okay. And Hispanic is green. So this is a very good chart to explain how people start. Initially, they were less people, and then they kind of grow over time. So this is telling me very nicely. Average percentage, right? So, okay, sounds good. I mean, except that again, heading in a little bit more in the verbiage.
Yeah.
Be specific.
Sounds good. Well, before we have before we end this interview, is there any closing thoughts that you had regarding this topic that you wanted to share, or regarding the data visualizations and the data sources used? And if you had any, maybe if you had any recommendations for how I can improve this overall, whether it be adding more data sources or adding more visualizations, did you have any?
So I think once you started the questions, where and like so those questions are actually, these visualizations are answering those questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
I believe they are they're adequate to answer these questions, and whatever is your take back, or the results or inferences are there, that can be provided as one another slide.
Mm-hmm.
I have not gone through all of it, because just to conclude everything, so that you can add as a slide.
Mm-hmm.
So what are the questions, and then these are the answers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, otherwise it looks great.
Okay. Well, I'll be entering this interview, but thank you so much for meeting with me. I really appreciate your feedback. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Bye.